and also newspapers. According to the Pew Research Center, an American nonpartisan fact tank, more and more people are using online communication, social medias for communication, entertainment, and news source. Social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are suitable for teenagers to voice out because they get the most attention there. With social media getting more and more accessible, this enables information to be disseminated at a much more high rate than before, leading to a more immediate activism. So this leads to my question of, has grassroots organizations and social media platforms help empower teenagers to get involved with policymaking concerning the environment? So the environmental issues are getting more and more in the mainstream because with the advent of social media. Unlike the panic and violent protests in China, Margaret Thatcher's 1982 United Nations speech talked about the deterioration of the Earth's environment in a really calm way. What began as a grassroots movement has become a more defining moment in history with Thatcher's address on the political stage. So though her words may be lost against the backdrop of more immediate issues such as but not limited to war, famine, and poverty, the destruction of the Earth affects everyone and everything on this planet. So in China, as the picture shows, there's a transition for the Chinese government changing from a more enclosed system to a more open style of governing. So for the past decade, there's a body of people, mainly consists of Chinese factory workers who are protesting in hope of having the government to implement policy regarding the environment to ensure the well-being of their offsprings. So as seen here, the workers use banners and face masks to emphasize on the severity of the pollution, while because of like a conflict of interest of how the government would want to focus more on the development of economy rather than the protection of the environment, they sent out police forces to try and dissipate the crowd using brutal force. But then these photos and videos got posted on Chinese social media, which the Chinese government may have hoped would have discouraged the people from continuing to support the issue, but then rather more like a larger population actually sparked up and supported the issue, which caused the government to have succumb and actually address the problem by creating policies such as the regulation of factory emission, factory materials, and the conservation of endangered species. So politics in China may not be transparent, which means that people that are not closely connected to government organizations have a hard time to express their personal concerns respective to their community. Social media bridges this gap in communication. Though environmental messages directly dispute to the government's own track records are censored, social media allows indirect messages about environmental friendly actions to be heard by members in government. So the definition of grassroots organizations defined by Peter Gundlach, a sociology professor in the University of Copenhagen, as local groups seeking to change conditions not related to their working situation. And recently, grassroots organizations have seen growth and success in impacting the government's policy making. This was also researched by the Rutgers University, and they suggest that the grassroots organizations are adaptive, resilient, and resourceful when operating in a range of political and cultural contexts. Other researchers conducted by the NCBI and other universities also point towards grassroots organizations being a pivotal component in the future politics. So the global school strike held by the Friday for Future showed the power of how teenagers uniting together can be impactful. So it all started with in Sweden, where the girl called Greta Thunberg skipped school every Friday to sit in front of the parliament in hope of convincing the government to improve the policies made to address climate change. So her actions were posted online, and the pictures went viral and influenced the rest of the world. Teenagers around the globe joined the teenagers around the globe joined the issue, and even sometimes the teachers also joined the action, such as in the case of India, where the teacher joined with 16 other different schools to march towards a government building. Thanks to social media, the movement gone viral in a very short period of time. Friday for Future was a small movement with no connections to large corporations or political parties. And in fact, there were students like we who leveraged the power of social media and affected like-minded teenagers. The snowball effect of this social movement can start small, but end big, such that politicians will listen to our voices, the people's voices on the ground. Thank you. And here are my
Good. Okay. All right. So, Elliot.
Yes.
How did your research question change and evolve through this process?
Well, in the beginning, I was thinking of having more of just looking into how, statistically wise, how it impacted others. But then, because there was a lack of statistics online, I have to change my question to accommodate the problem. Basically, I just, rather than talking about like numbers, I tried to create a question that can talk about how we can see patterns, or like we can see how it's more related to I guess a hypothetical point rather than like an actual solid data.
Okay, great. And what additional, well, I'm going to ask you a different question, sorry. What do you see as some real world implications or consequences of what you've researched?
So some real world consequences that we could see, or we are seeing, is already how like the Friday for Future Act has already prompted a lot of governments to start reflecting on whether their policies are enough in like rescuing the world, the earth. But then at the same time, it also helps teenagers bring confidence to them to actually speak up for what they want in the future.
Okay.